Welcome back to the grind for another new and returning player guide. This one is going to be about understanding the season structure and where you're at in the season when you join. For example, if you just start and the season has started within the past week or two, you pretty much have the full season ahead of you, and it gives you plenty of time to sort of get going on things, getting resources, and then starting to work through these branches. However, at the very start of the season, you aren't going to see all the branches. Now, if you are in my situation and I'm returning to the game and you look and there's 6 days left in the season, it doesn't leave me a lot of time to gain all the sigils needed to really make significant progression through these branches. So what that means is I'm probably not going to want to spend a ton of my resources to do well in the last 1 or 2 weeks of events. I'm not going to want to open up a bunch of chests to get sigils when I'm not really going to be able to complete a line. And then I end up wasting all of those resources this season when I could have saved them for next season and ended up really getting a jump start into the start of the new season branches. So that's something, the first thing to take note of when you are kind of getting into the game and trying to get a grasp of all these things. Now, there is a lot to learn about the game, including the events, and we'll go into that a little bit more later, and how to build your base. And I do have a bunch of base building guides and event guides, so if you're really eager and you want to jump in and take a look, go ahead and search my channel for those guides, look at the playlists. But basically, you want to take your time with building your base, focus on 3 to 5 towers at the very start. Don't build too many towers, and start kind of working on saving up resources of different kinds. Okay, and so for me, what I'm going to do this season, I'm not going to use resources in the event. So we do have an event that is about to start, and it is Gauntlet, the PvP event. So the big resource in PvP events is inner fires. So you don't want to waste a bunch of inner fires or energy refills like these ones. If you're limited on those and you only have a week left, then going in and getting these prizes, getting a bunch of sigils from these prizes is going to be great. Like, that's awesome. You can put them towards these season branches, but it's only 1 week, and it probably would be better to ration those resources into next season so you have a better chance of going further into the branch. Because let's take a look. For example, if we were going to click on one of these dragon branches here, you can see that the further you get into the line, the different stones that you're going to get. And all of these stones are going to determine how strong you can make your dragon. Okay, so if you can only get a few stones, that means the dragon for a higher tier player is never going to be that valuable. If you are a brand new player, then it might make sense for you with 2 or 3 weeks left of the season, try to get a gold tier dragon. But you want to be careful not to over-invest in a season that's about to end, is basically the gist of what I'm trying to get across. The other thing is understanding the season structure. Now, you don't want to spread all your sigils into a bunch of different branches and say, oh, cool, I can get like 5 or 6 new dragons and get them all to gold tier. But if you're in gold tier, it's only going to be another few weeks or month or so until you need dragons that are in a higher tier, that are going to be in platinum tier, you're going to be pushing up into sapphire tier. And so you want to have less dragons with potential to go higher into the tiers. So that's something to keep in mind when you're looking at how you're going to approach your season. The other thing to keep in mind is there are riders branches, which can be very helpful, as well as tower branches to get different resources. Sometimes there's different special branches, but early on, you're probably not going to want to focus on those special branches because you're going to want to spend more effort and time getting better dragons as well as some riders to go on those dragons. The base boost branch is, again, something that as a lower level player or a newer player, you probably aren't going to focus too much of your time and effort into, because you want to build up your stash of dragons and get them to higher tiers. And then once you get further into the game, they do have these different tower branches, which will give you lots of good resources for base building, as well as special resources to level up the more kind of premium towers. But that, again, is something that you're going to want to focus on a bit later in the game. You don't really need those early on, unless you're searching for specific resources that come in the branches, like where is it here that I saw it? That's so in this one, it has elemental embers, which is nice to get, and in this one as well, the Volt Tower branch has a lot of elemental embers. So if you're really wanting to push for more elemental embers for flak towers, then that's a branch that you can focus on. But for the very new players, I think that the most value you're going to get is trying to get 2 or 3 dragons that you can have at least 3 or 4 tiers ahead of where you are currently. So when you're planning out your sigil spending, you want to take a look and see how far you can get down the branch. And you can add it all up and see and say, okay, currently I'm at Sapphire tier and I have enough sigils to get to Obsidian Stone. That would seem like a good investment. But if you're coming to the end of a season and you're already in Sapphire tier and all you can get to is Sapphire tier or even Platinum tier, then it's probably not worth investing in a new dragon at that point. It's probably better to continue progression down a different dragon branch, get them a little bit higher potential, or invest them into another branch where you can grab some other resources that will then help you in other events in the coming seasons, to then continue to grow and be able to push further into each season. So that's kind of an overview. I know it doesn't break down the season structure. That will be a different video all on its own, and that is usually better done at the start of a season, where you can see where the season starts and how it goes on from there. As you can see, sometimes there are these 20% bonus resource branches for a short period of time, and there's also sometimes discounted branches or cheaper branches. So that's something to keep in mind as you're looking forward. But if you're very new to the game, I highly recommend looking for guides and resources on each particular season that you're in, asking people that you're playing with that you know what branches or which dragons might be the best to pursue. And it's going to depend on the type of player that you are, and whether you're really new, whether you're just learning to fly dragons, or whether you're already an experienced flyer and able to handle a more complicated, skillful dragon. So I hope that this was a helpful basic overview, and if you're interested in getting more into the details, do check out some of my other videos, as well as subscribe or keep an eye out on the channel for more of these guides coming soon. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.